For the longest time, it's been absolutely silent on the Zelda Tears of the Kingdom front. But today, a massive leak could be divulging everything we've been asking about the gameplay, the systems, and exactly what this game is all about. Danger, Will Robinson. There possibly be spoilers ahead. Good morning, Mario, and good morning, Switch fans. Hope you're all doing fine, enjoying this divine day here, where we talk about Zelda Tears of the Kingdom. Now look, I have been so hungry for more on this game. It's out in a month and a half. I can't believe it's so close. It's gonna be huge for this channel and huge for just all of us. It's like a massive ordeal. So, I did some body modification and I'm ready for Zelda. Now we've got a huge leak today, and that's just gonna take up the entire show because this covers so many aspects and elements of Tears of the Kingdom. But as always, grain of salt. You got to take this with a grain of salt. It may not be true, but I have been so thirsty for Zelda news, Zelda info, that this just got me really excited and really ramped up and really eager to go. I even grew bigger ears. So we are going to talk all about this Tears of the Kingdom leak. I'm lucky. I get to travel a lot of cool places, but never have I been anywhere as exotic as the Mushroom Kingdom. And you better believe that getting access to all the things I do on the internet while inside that kingdom, very difficult. Thankfully, today's video is brought to you by Surfshark, an awesome VPN that allows you to do what you need to do wherever you are. For me, stuck between a castle and a humongous piranha plant, Surfshark allowed me to still watch Better Call Saul on Netflix. It also helped me keep my Wi-Fi secure and locked down when I was in that Toadstool Cafe. And I don't know what kind of creatures were trying to get access to my data. With the click of just one button, you can be anywhere in the world that you need to be. And that meant I was able to still order from Amazon US to replace the microphone that the broke when I was least expecting it. It was so helpful for me that I want to make sure it's helpful for you. That's why if you use promo code SWITCH, you'll get 83% off Surfshark VPN and 3 additional months free. So make sure to click the link in the description down below, so when you're trapped somewhere you're not too familiar with, you're still able to get done what you need to get done. So it was Bowser trying to get into my bank. Yeah, thank goodness I was using Surfshark VPN. Okay, there's a bunch of story details, but I'm gonna skip all of those. I think on the chance that these are real, that this is accurate, I don't want to destroy the story for myself or for you, so I'm going to skip over that. Instead, I'm going to focus on the gameplay, and there are 6 big bullet points. Now, I'll let you know that this comes from Reddit, and one of the moderators on the Gaming Leaks and Rumors forum posted that they have reached out to this user who posted this info to try and get their source, and they have yet to hear back. But they are leaving it up for now because they're not sure that it's false. So therefore, it's still kind of in that zone where the mods don't deem it to be completely not true and it's just erased. They also don't have exact verification. Just want to let you know that up front, it's important that we're clear. Let's get into it. Zelda, 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 baby. What is this game? The sky, rewinding time, a green googly cordyceps arm. More traditional dungeons do indeed make a return, and there are a substantial amount of them as well, with smaller shrine-like ones supplementing them. Big dungeons, okay, and then shrine-like mini dungeons scattered around the land. The dungeons and quote shrines, because they're not actually shrines, and we've seen that it looks like shrines have been removed from the game, we know that's accurate, are able to be completed in any order, but the dungeons are mandatory to complete the game. So this is going to link between world style, where the dungeons can be completed in any order. A wild and crazy system, but something we know that Nintendo was actively developing and really interested in using, probably for a mainline Zelda. You will find sections in each dungeon that cannot be explored without the use of something that is obtained in another one, like dungeon items. So this is how they're getting around them being all out of order or in any order. There will be certain sections of the dungeon that are only accessible with certain weapons. It says that these certain sections can be backtracked to explore to get extra items, materials, combat challenges, and more. So they're not requisite parts, mandatory sections of the dungeon, but for those who have the item already, the correct item, or want to come back and unlock everything they possibly can, you can do so. And I think that's a really neat way to make the dungeons multi-layered so that there's a reason to revisit them. You can't just have the dungeons be any order and them all be kind of baseline. I like the idea that there are puzzle elements that will be more complicated and require different items and allow you to return. I think that's kind of like a best of both worlds scenario. Dungeons in any order has its pros and its cons. I like building dungeons so that the puzzles can just get more and more complicated exponentially, knowing what you have in your arsenal, but this is, I guess, an okay trade-off, especially with a massive open world. Next bullet point. Weapon durability is largely the same, with some adjusted values for returning weapons, but you can now craft, repair, modify, and customize. Now, we have had inklings of this as well from previous leaks, and leaks we know to be true. Leaks from the art book. It's a very extensive system. Things you've seen, like horns on various enemies, plus more materials that have not been shown, are able to be used in crafting, repairing, or changing weapons at certain shops found across the map. You'll also be able to use dyes, gems, and other materials to customize the look of weapons as you see fit. Because they're able to be repaired now, it's logical that you may find a sword you grow fond of, want to change the color of its hilt, its blade, its sheath, add a different material, and then you can keep it. Note that when I say weapons, I'm also including bows and shields, as well as new types that have been introduced, such as the cannon-like one shown in the last trailer. This is monumental. This is taking weapon management to a very deep RPG level, but also a cool customizable level where you can grow attached to a weapon not named the Master Sword. That's really appealing to me, and I love this idea of attaching horns or different things from other monsters onto your weapons or creating weapons out of them, crafting via kills. It's actually a really devious system. It's a really genius idea from Nintendo, and one that I think will go a long way into making the weapon durability a more satisfying system to interact with. Every piece of armor and clothing from the first game returns, including DLC ones, and there are a plethora of new as well. Duh. They are now divided into 4 parts instead of 3 though. Head, top, and bottom, but now they're adding footwear. Every piece of armor in the game can be dyed, and certain pieces will have alternate looks you can change in the menu, such as putting your hood up or down, or wearing or removing a cape. I can't believe Tears of the Kingdom is coming. Oh my goodness gracious, I told you this gets you excited. I told you, like, we need to know about this game. And grain of salt again, but like, this is making it sound phenomenal. It says, as shown a small bit on some of the Nintendo Twitter accounts, the paraglider is also customizable through the use of amiibo and without amiibo. Gear storage has been implemented in certain locations, including Link's house. You can store clothing, weapons, even food and materials for later use. When weapons become broken, they remain in your inventory in a broken state and cannot be used until you repair them. Storing them, though, allows you to free up your inventory until you decide or have the means to repair said weapons. Extra storage solution, keeping this game, QOL certified. Quality of life is like my favorite term since Animal Crossing just bored that into my brain. It drilled it in like QOL, QOL, QOL. Everything is about quality of life. And honestly, like, outside of like some new powers and new enemies and cool boss battles, dungeons, I think quality of life is going to be one of the ways that Zelda Tears of the Kingdom just feels so much better. Like, the foundation is phenomenal. We don't need to rewrite the book on what an open world Zelda is. We just need to tune it and expand it and blow it up and have dungeons and craftable weapons. The crafting system, we'll dive deep here, is incredibly extensive and covers both weapons and vehicles. Remember that freaking flying car Link doing a thing? I thought maybe that was just like his cool mode of transportation, but perhaps there's a banjo nuts and bolts element here. After they saw people creating kind of their own entrepreneurial ways to travel via vehicle in Breath of the Wild 1, maybe they wanted to make that system actually a system. And it sounds like, according to this leak, they've done just that. Everything in between. You can even add weapons such as cannons to the vehicles you create. Holy crap. Weaponized vehicles would be sick. Piloting a flying car with cannons. I want to drive a Trojan horse, but that's in the shape of Epona. There are a large quantity of parts and pieces found across the game that are used in combination with a sort of glue. It's shown in the trailer, and there's story explanation as well. You guys remember seeing glue in the trailer? Glue is shown in the trailer. The physics system really shines here with the glue and with the vehicles. If you can think of it and are able to gather the parts, you can build it. This would be life-altering. This would be, first of all, can you imagine how many crazy concoctions we can create on stream and videos together when we can make our own vehicles? You can now hitch wagons to your horses in order to travel around and pick up large vehicle pieces like wheels, body pieces such as crates and slabs, and the like. Okay, if I can take my horse, I got chills. I got the goosebumps. Can you see my hair standing up? I can now bring up cart with my horse and I can lug giant stuff around, can I please lug a giant enemy around and just attach him and ride him like a puppet, like a mannequin? Oh, getting creepy. Redeads. This is how they come back. If this is true, this will be the biggest game changer. Like, dungeons are fantastic, but it's honestly, for me, the crafting nature of the game that includes weapons and vehicles. If that is really the crux here, that is going to be the defining feature, I think, in Tears of the Kingdom. More so than dungeons or story or Link's Cordyceps arm, I think it's gotta be this. Like, if crafting is this center stage, that's what makes Tears of the Kingdom special. That's what makes us cry the tears. Similar to how you could drop wood and light it on fire to create a campfire to sit and skip time in Breath of the Wild 1, you can now set up an actual tent in the wild and sleep for the night. By setting up this camp, you gain access to a cooking pot and some other mechanics. You can still set up basic campfires too, as you need additional materials to craft camping kits. Because this makes cooking more easily available than just finding a cooking pot somewhere, eating food has been changed to not be allowed while in active combat and certain other situations. So the food system has been modified, but I'm more here for the crafting. I think it's really awesome to note that we can actually identify all of these elements via the trailer. So you have kind of two scenarios here where either this leak is just spot on and it's actually going to be all this stuff, or they are able to generate a leak based on the trailer because it actually hints more than we can confirm. And maybe we should start taking the trailer more at face value and say like, hey, there's no shrines, there's no shrines. It looks like there's big dungeons, there's big dungeons. Clearly you're making vehicles with some sort of green gluey stuff, you're making vehicles. I think honestly, whether this leak ends up real or fake, I think much of this information will be in the game. And that's freaking awesome. All in all, we have less than 2 months until this absolutely incredible game. You'll see soon enough when the next trailer releases, which I promise will be more extensive than several of the previous ones. Also, because we're so close to release. And that ends this massive leak. Now, like I said, you can go look for it and you can find all sorts of, there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 big story beats here. They're not like spoiling the plot like line by line. This isn't like a manuscript, but it does sort of give some indications. And especially around the tears, which is why I don't want to talk about it, because that could be a massive plot point and it could be something, really exciting for us to uncover. But for now, what do you think of this big leak? Again, my favorite part, even though I'm a dungeon fiend and I love the idea of dungeons, I get worried about dungeons in any order, but I do like this idea of backtracking for locked off areas that are specifically sectioned for certain items, so you have a reason to return, and it's exciting, like, oh, I already have that item, or like, oh gosh, it's a tease of an item up ahead. But it's really like, yeah, the armor and clothing customization is great, yeah, storage is nice, but the crafting could really take this to just a totally different level of RPG involvement and absolute immersion. Let me know what you think about glue vehicles, dungeons and mini dungeons, all sorts of new parts for your vehicles, for your clothing, footwear, campfires. What do you think of this? Do you hope this is it? And if this was the game, right? Like if this is all, we take it at face value and say it's true, do you think this is a big enough upgrade for Zelda Tears of the Kingdom? Is this big enough for you to say, okay, it's worth 70, it's worth the 6-year wait, boom, baby. May 12th is so close. I cannot wait to share all the enthusiasm and excitement with you. Hope you like the ears. Stay safe, stay healthy, stay happy, stay positive out there, my people. And until next time, thanks again. Switch Force out.